Hello, YouTube. I hope you're doing well today. I should be on. I should be live already. Oh, yeah, I am. Here we are. So today we are going to make this rainbow bag, and there's actually a number of ways to make this. And the reason why I chose this is because I think it's quite a pretty piece of work. Everybody loves rainbows. Everybody I know is anyway. All right, so to start off, I'm just going to say that I did not follow any pattern for this. You can find free patterns online. So it's quite simple to make. I'm going to be talking about two ways to make this, not necessarily in one session, probably in two sessions. Okay. So just a little sneak peek, maybe like an explanation of how we're going to go about this. We are going to make a rectangular piece, not necessarily a square piece, a rectangular piece, and then we are going to fold it up and then finish, like join this part here to make our rainbow bag. Okay, join this part and join this bag. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to simply um, like work in a complete loop. We'll probably do that next session. Okay, but for today we're going to make a rectangular piece. Um, for this particular bag, the number of stitches that I use for chunky wool or bulky wool is 50. So there's 50 stitches for every row. Okay. I am going to be using 3 stitches here. We have the single crochet, the double crochet, and the half double crochet. Okay. I'm not going to be whipping out my notebook just because we have a problem with glare every time I dig it out. Okay. So the main idea here, or rather the main topic that I want to teach you is basically how to change colors. Okay, how to change the color of yarn. Um, and then secondary would be how are we going to use half double crochet, which is a new stitch for this series from me. Okay, all right, so let's start. So I'm gonna use this yarn. It's chunky, and the main size, hook size I'm going to be using is 4.5. Okay, I'm going to be using, to start with, a 5mm hook. Now, just for demonstration purposes, I am not going to be making 50 stitches per row because that's going to take us forever for this demonstration. So for your reference, again, for each row, we're using 50 stitches. So make 50 stitches every time, okay? If it's 50 chains or 50 single crochet, 50 double crochet, or 50 half double crochet. But for this demonstration, I'll just limit myself to 10 stitches for every row. Okay. So to start off, again, let me go back to this. So I want to use 4.5mm for the main part of the bag. But to start off, if you remember in our past video tutorials, I did say that if you're going to start off with a bigger hook, then your piece is not going to bunch up so much at the bottom. Okay, so we start off with our slip knot. Okay, I do my slip knot differently nowadays, but this is apparently the proper way of doing it, even though it doesn't look like it's proper. Okay, so that's our slip knot. I apologize, this length here tail here is quite long. That's fine. So if you want to make the appropriate bag that I just displayed earlier, make 50 chain stitches. But for me, I'm just going to make 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I'm going to make one more as our turning chain. And we're going to start off with single crochet. Okay, and we know how to do a single crochet nowadays, yes? So we insert your hook, we yarn over, draw through 1, yarn over, draw through 2. Okay, so make 10 single crochet stitches across. Okay. So let's make one row of single crochet, and then the next row we're going to demonstrate how are we going to change color for this. Now, for this particular method of making a bag, changing color for single crochet is different for that for the other stitches. Okay, this is like slight differences, and I just want to demonstrate how to do that. All right, so this is quite obvious where it started. I'm sorry, I forgot to put the stitch marker. So that's our first stitch of this row of single crochet stitches. Okay. All right, so for this type, we're going to turn our work because you want to make a rectangular piece. Yeah, you're going to turn your work and you're going to do another row of single crochet, but take note that for the last stitch, okay, there's going to be a little bit of a modification. Okay, now you should be asking, like, one question that you could ask is, do we just need really 2 rows of single crochet for the bag? Not necessarily, but this is just to demonstrate to you how to change color. Now for this particular bag, I think I used 5 rows of single crochet, 2 rows of double crochet, and I think 3 rows of half double crochet. Okay. All right. It really depends on how wide you want each band of color you want. Yeah. So we turn our work, and we have our turning chain, and then we're going to do our first single crochet here. Okay, and then I'll remember this time to put our stitch marker. You don't really need to do this, but it's just helpful, especially when you're starting to crochet. Okay, so that's our first single crochet, and then we do up to second to the last stitch. Okay. Okay, so a recap. So this is second to the last stitch. Recap of single crochet if you've forgotten. We insert your hook, and then we yarn over, and then we pull or we draw the yarn with a hook through 1 loop on the hook. And then we yarn over again, and then we draw through 2 loops on the hook. Okay, we do the same thing for the last stitch, but we are going to get our next color. So this time around, it's going to be pink. If I can manage to get this free. Okay, I think we're good here. So we'll just make this ready, yeah? Okay, so again, so for single crochet, insert the hook, yarn over, draw through 1, yarn over, draw through 2. Okay, so when you're changing color, this is what you're going to do. Changing color using single crochet. We insert your hook. You can take this stitch marker out if that's a bit bothersome. I find it bothersome. And then you yarn over, draw through. Okay. Now, instead of yarning over with the same color, we're going to yarn over using the next yarn color. Okay. So it does take a bit of practice of how to handle more than one yarn. You will need to practice this. Okay. So this is how I hold it. So that's the loose end right there, like sort of like on the top or in front of me. And then it's like a yarn over, and then we're going to try to draw through that. Okay. Making sure that we have this yarn here. You're holding it with your other hand. Okay. All right. Now, this is going to be, well, sort of the start of the next row. Yeah. So let's stick with single crochet. So it's just a bit of practice. Sometimes I do mess up a bit and that comes off, but I'm sort of holding the yarn and the crochet hook in place. Okay. So if we're going to do single crochet, we're going to need a turning chain. Yeah. And then we're going to turn over. Okay. You leave that there, and then we're going to talk about how we're going to clean that up. And then we're going to do single crochet. Single crochet, you insert your hook, yarn over, draw through 1 loop, yarn over, draw through 2 loops. Okay. So this is what it looks like here. It's a bit loose, so you can fix that by sort of gently yanking on your loose ends. Okay, not too much, just do it gently. You can fix that later. Okay. And then simply keep making single crochet until you get to the end. Okay. So single crochet in the last stitch, so that stitch marker is really useful. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So you have, this is actually called magenta. This first row, first band is called magenta, and the next one is pink. Okay, yes, very obvious, Chris. Okay. All right, so that's what it looks like. Okay, now let's change up the stitch. Let's make it double crochet. Okay, so we talked about double crochet in the past. So for double crochet, the turning chain would be 2 chains. For some people, it's 2 chains. For other people, it's 3. Okay. It really depends on how tightly, how loosely you crochet. But I personally prefer just 2 chains. Okay. So 2 chains as turning chain, and then we do a double crochet. First step is to yarn over, insert your hook, and then yarn over, draw through 1, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. So that's your double crochet. So that's your first stitch. I'm going to put the stitch marker there to remind me that's where I'm going to end in my next row. So again, double crochet. Okay. So again, yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, draw through 1 loop, yarn over, draw through 2 loops, yarn over, draw through 2 loops. Okay, so you should be making 10 double crochet for this row. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is, we have time for another row of double crochet. Let's change color using double crochet. Okay. So for double crochet, so it's quite obvious now because we just changed the color from this row to that row. So we know that's the last stitch. Yeah. Okay. This is how we're going to change color. So I'm going to take my next color. By the way, if you want, it's getting a bit messy, you could just give yourself a bit of space here, a bit of freedom by cutting this yarn. Okay. For this project, it's okay to cut the yarn. For other projects, actually, they recommend you don't. Okay, and I can explain in a future project if if we come up to that certain situation. Okay, so get your next color ready. Sorry, it's a light blue and navy blue, but you can see the next yarn here. Okay, how do we change color for using double crochet stitch? So do a double crochet stitch again. So yarn over, insert your hook into your last stitch, yarn over, draw through that one loop, yarn over, draw through 2 loops, and then we take your next color. Okay, and then you're going to yarn over using that. Okay, so yeah, I'm using my secondary hand here. Draw through both loops. Okay, and make sure it's either you use your secondary hand or your dominant hand to put this in place. Keep it in place. Okay, and that's how you change color using double crochet. All right, now let's say we are going to continue with a double crochet for the next row. So again, chain 2 is our turning chain. Okay, and we're going to do a double crochet for that. So we're using only 10 stitches for every row for this demonstration. For your, if you want to use the size of the bag that I just showed you at the start of this, it's going to be at the 5th stitch that you're going to change color. Okay, the 5th stitch. Okay, so I'm not going to change color here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the stitch. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce to you the half double crochet stitch. Right, so far we've learned how to change color using single crochet. We've learned how to change color using double crochet, and now I'm going to teach you how to actually use the half double crochet. Okay, so it is like a, what's the word, like a version of a double crochet, only it's like a step or 2 steps shorter. I'll explain by showing you how to do it. So for half double crochet, most people would use turning chain as two chains. That's your turning chain for half double crochet. Depending on my project, if I'm making a hat, if I'm making a scarf, if I want my piece to be very tight, my turning chain is actually just 1 chain. But for this purposes, for a bag, it doesn't really need to be that tight. I'm just simply going to use 2 chains as my turning chain. Okay, so you turn we work, and this is how we're going to do a half double crochet. You'll see how it's similar to a double crochet stitch. So you're going to yarn over, and then you're going to insert your hook into your stitch, and you're going to yarn over. You're going to draw through one loop, okay? And instead of yarn over, draw through two, yarn over, draw through two, which is the next steps for half, or rather for a double crochet, we cut that short to 2 steps. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to draw through 3 loops on the hook. This is your half double crochet. Okay, so let's do that again. So this is half double crochet. You're going to yarn over, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch, you're going to yarn over, and then you're going to draw through that one loop or that stitch. You're going to yarn over, and you're going to draw through 3 loops on the hook. Okay, let's do that again. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, draw through 1 loop, yarn over, and draw through 3 loops. Okay, so that's your half double crochet. Okay, so I'll just do this without explaining what I'm doing. Okay, so yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, draw through 1 loop, yarn over, draw through 3 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, draw through 1 loop, yarn over, draw through 3 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, draw through 1 loop, yarn over, draw through 3 loops. Okay. Right. So that's your half double crochet stitch. Now, these stitches have their uses. Okay, so these are quite simple basic stitches in crochet. If you want your piece to be very, very tight, especially like here in the northern hemisphere, winter is coming or winter is already here, single crochet is very good. Only that, see if you would notice, it takes a while to build your piece using a single crochet. So a double crochet is a favorite of mine because you can build your piece quite quickly. Yeah. The problem with double crochet stitches is that some people find them a bit too loose. Okay, so what I mean is, you know, a lot of airflow going through. You know, if you want your piece to be quite tight and just, you know, really dense, then that's probably not the best stitch. Okay. The half double crochet, I think, is the compromise between a single crochet and a double crochet stitch. You can build your piece in an efficient manner, okay, like it was a double crochet, only that it's a tiny bit shorter than a double crochet stitch, and it is actually tighter. Yeah. There's another reason people love the half double crochet stitch, and it's got something to do with the way it looks. So you've got this layer here. You can see this layer over here. And if you turn it over a little bit, you'll see a similar configuration right there. Okay, and that's useful when you're making a piece that you want it to look like knitting, like a cable stitch of sorts. Okay, that's a bit of advanced topic right now, but that's another reason why people like the half double crochet stitch. Now, how are we going to change color using half double crochet stitch? Okay, here's what we're going to do. Let me just put this marker here. I apologize again. I always forget to use this. And sometimes I get into trouble I don't know where I am, like which is the last stitch, because I don't put the stitch markers. I have to count it from the beginning. All right, so we are going to chain 2. This is our turning chain for our half double crochet. We're going to yarn over, insert the hook, draw through 1 loop, yarn over, draw through 3. Yarn over, insert your hook, draw 1, draw 3. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, draw through 1, yarn over, draw through 3. Okay, so that's half double crochet. Okay, let me just show you how to change color using half double crochet. Okay, all right, so to change color, let's go back and use the magenta. Okay, just gonna cut this bit of pink yarn. Okay, so how are we gonna change color using half double crochet? It's getting a bit messy here. Okay, we're going to yarn over like we normally do the half double crochet, and then we're going to insert your hook into the last stitch. Okay, and then we're going to yarn over, draw through 1 loop, and then we're going to sort of abandon that original color, and we're going to pick up the next yarn. We are going to yarn over with that next color, and then we're going to draw through the 3 loops. Okay, that's how you change color using half double crochet. So I'm just going to make another row of half double crochet here just to finish this off. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is our demonstration piece. Okay. So as you can see, we have these loose hands right there. Okay. And at some point, of course, if you make a bag similar to what I showed you, I'll just show it to you again. So instead of using 10 stitches per row, again, as I keep saying, use 50. Okay. If you want a bigger bag, then I recommend doubling it to 100. You know, it really depends. And this is like a purse, you know, or a handbag. Sorry, that's not a purse. It's not really a purse. It's a handbag or a shoulder bag. So this is using 10 stitches per row. Okay. Now, later on, as you build it, yeah, so 50, right? We're simply going to fold that, okay? And we're going to close this up, similar to what we did when we did our first project, which is the purse. So I can show that to you in our next session. But for now, your homework is to just keep building this, keep making your piece. Okay, it's going to be a pretty big rectangular piece. How many stitches did I use here? Well, color-wise, as you can see, you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors plus the flap. Okay, the flap is similar to what we did when we made our first project purse. Yeah. So, and each color is about an inch thick. Okay. So for my if you're using single crochet, and it will depend on what your preference. Yeah. If you want it really, really tightly done, then use single crochet. If you want it, you know, loose, you don't mind how loose it is, use double crochet. If you wanted to compromise, use half double crochet. So if it's half double crochet, it's going to be 3 stitches per color, 3 rows per color. If it's double crochet, it's 2 rows per color. If it's single crochet, I used 5, or you can use 4 rows per color. Okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can join our Facebook group. You can look for Cris Crochet Shop, and I'll see you next week. All right, bye.